General Hospital spoilers for Friday, May 8 reveal that back then the show was already weaving its magic with the Quartermaines and the Spencers, and I never imagined I'd still be here in my 60s. Heart beating faster than it should at my age, because the stories keep surprising me in the best possible ways. These latest chapters have me completely hooked. The kind of breathless excitement that makes me lean forward in my chair and forget the world outside for an hour. What's unfolding right now feels alive with possibility, and I can't help but share how deeply it moves me as someone who has walked every twist and turn alongside these characters for decades. Felicia has always been one of those steady lights in Port Charles, the kind of woman who shows up when the storm hits hardest, and right now she's proving it all over again by standing firmly beside Lucas. He's reeling from the fresh shocks tied to Marco's death, pushing hard to uncover exactly who is responsible, and the way the story is adjusting to these new layers is one of the smartest shifts the writers have made in a long while. I've seen Lucas grow from a young man finding his footing to someone carrying real weight on his shoulders, and Felicia's support isn't just background comfort. It's the kind of quiet strength that reminds me of how family has always been the backbone of this show. Unlike the earlier storylines where Lucas might have charged ahead alone, this version lets us see the careful, deliberate way Felicia helps him process each new clue, each new danger. It proves the difference between the old solo hero moments and today's richer tapestry, where love and loyalty are the real weapons. My own heart swells watching her, because I know what it's like to be the one holding someone together when the truth feels too heavy. And Felicia is doing it with the grace we've come to expect, yet with a fresh urgency that keeps the screen crackling. That same urgency spills over into Carly's world, and I have to admit her latest announcement left me staring at the television with my hand over my mouth. The way Dante's face registered pure shock, mouth actually falling open, wasn't just good acting, it was the perfect reaction to the bombshell she dropped, and I'm convinced it ties directly to her desperate need to locate Jocelyn. Carly has always been a force, the kind of mother who will move heaven and earth for her children, but this new obsession feels different, sharper, born from a change in the ground beneath her feet that we haven't seen quite this way before. In the original telling of these family crises, Carly might have kept her plans closer to the vest, but here she's stepping out with purpose, pulling allies in and forcing the truth into the open. The evidence is right there, in the careful pacing of every scene. The way her eyes flash with determination, the subtle glances exchanged that hint at bigger threats closing in. It's proving to be one of the most compelling adjustments the show has embraced lately, turning what could have been a simple missing person worry into a layered hunt that pulls in everyone around her. I keep asking myself if this will finally bring mother and daughter back together stronger than ever, and the answer feels like yes, because Carly's brand of fierce love has always won out in the end, just never quite with this level of raw vulnerability mixed in. And then there's Sonny, that complicated soul who has owned so many of my Thursday nights over the years. His willingness to charge straight into recklessness has me wondering out loud whether it will truly bring the good results he's hoping for, especially now that he's steering fresh danger straight toward Rick. I've watched Sonny navigate mob life and family loyalty for decades, and this latest obsession carries a different heat, one that feels both true to his protective core and daringly new in how openly he's willing to risk everything. The original plots often kept his moves more calculated, shadowed in back rooms and whispered deals, but the current version lets us see the personal fire driving him. The way Rick's involvement has become the flashpoint for something bigger. It proves a real departure, showing us that even a man as seasoned as Sonny can still evolve when the stakes touch the people he loves most. I can feel the tension building like a summer storm over Port Charles. Every choice he makes now carries the weight of potential triumph, or heartbreaking fallout. And that uncertainty is exactly what keeps me returning, because life itself rarely hands us neat endings. Sunny's story reminds me that the show has always celebrated second chances wrapped inside high stakes choices. And right now it's delivering that lesson with more emotional punch than I've felt in a good long while. What really has the whole canvas of Port Charles humming with electricity, though, is the pressure Nathan is putting on Lulu, and the slow, delicious realization that something is deeply off with him. I've been turning it over in my mind episode after episode, wondering when Lulu will finally see the cracks and understand that the man she thinks she knows is actually Cassius. This identity twist is pushing the new adjustments farther than I ever expected, taking what started as a familiar face in town and transforming it into a threat that ripples outward in ways that feel both shocking and strangely inevitable. In the classic version of Lulu's romantic storylines, the dangers were often more straightforward, easier to spot from a distance, but here the writers have crafted something sneakier, more intimate, letting the pressure build through small moments that accumulate into something explosive. The proof is in how Lulu's expressions shift from trust to the faintest flicker of doubt. You can almost hear the gears turning in her mind, and I believe she's on the verge of piecing it together. When she does, it's going to be one of those payoff moments that rewards longtime viewers like me who have followed her journey from wild child to the strong woman she is today. This storyline doesn't just entertain. It reconnects us to the heart of what General Hospital does best, showing how deception can hide in plain sight and how truth, once uncovered, changes everything. All these threads feel beautifully interwoven, don't they? Felicia's steady hand guiding Lucas through his investigation, Carly's bold announcement sending shockwaves that reach Dante and ignite her hunt for Jocelyn, Sunny's daring moves against Rick that echo the larger dangers swirling around town, and that slow burn pressure from Nathan, Cassius, that has Lulu standing at the edge of a major awakening. It's the kind of convergence that makes me lean in closer, heart racing, because I sense the writers are building towards something that will tie the whole community together in ways we haven't seen since the glory days of the 1980s, super couples and mob intrigue. What I love most is how these new adjustments honor the show's roots while daring to feel fresh. The original C plot lines often moved at a more leisurely pace, letting secrets simmer for months, but today's version gives us that same depth, wrapped in quicker emotional payoffs that still respect the characters we've grown to love. I keep thinking back to my younger self sitting in front of that old television set, and how even then I knew General Hospital was more than just a soap. It was a mirror to the complicated bonds of family, the cost of loyalty, and the courage it takes to chase the truth no matter where it leads. There's a warmth in these stories that comforts me even as the suspense builds. Felicia's support isn't flashy. It's the steady kind that says family shows up. And Lucas is learning that lesson in real time as he digs deeper into Marco's death. Carly's obsession with finding Jocelyn reminds me why mothers on this show have always been its beating heart. Her announcement wasn't just information, it was a declaration of love in action. And Dante's stunned reaction was the perfect mirror for all of us watching at home. Sunny's recklessness carries the same fire that has defined him for years, yet the way it targets Rick feels personal in a brand new light, proving that even old rivalries can bloom into something richer when the stakes rise. And Lulu, oh how I root for her to see through the mask Nathan wears. The Cassius reveal is the kind of bold stroke that keeps the show vital after all these decades, showing us that no one is ever truly safe from deception, yet no one is ever truly alone either. I sit here in my living room, afternoon light coming through the window just like it did when I first started watching, and I feel the same thrill I did back then, only deeper now because I've lived long enough to appreciate how these characters reflect the resilience we all need. The heat of these plots isn't the cheap kind. It's the slow burn of real human drama wrapped in the familiar comfort of Port Charles. Will Sonny's choices pay off without costing him more than he can bear? I believe they will, because the show has taught me that his kind of love always finds a way. Will Lulu finally connect the dots about the man pressuring her? I'm certain the moment is coming, and when it does, it will be electric. These aren't just storylines. They're the latest chapter in a saga that has kept me company through marriages, grandchildren, and everything in between. General Hospital still knows how to make an old fan's heart race, and right now it's doing it better than ever, leaving me counting the hours until the next episode because I know something wonderful and surprising is waiting just around the corner in the town I've loved for a lifetime.